Nearly a decade after the COVID-19 pandemic, a troubling pattern of neurological complications has emerged among recovered patients in remote northern regions of Canada and Russia. Scientists are calling it a rare but manageable complication linked to long-term viral persistence, though concerns are growing as rural hospitals in Alaska, northern Canada, and Siberia report a rise in patients exhibiting alarming symptoms. Doctors describe a sudden onset of personality changes, erratic behavior, and violent outbursts. Many affected individuals display an extreme state of confusion and aggression before falling into a prolonged catatonic state, often resulting in sudden cardiac arrest. Experts stress that these cases remain rare, though clusters have been reported in isolated regions with limited medical infrastructure, leading to fears of underreporting. Early studies suggest a possible link to viral remnants lingering in the brain, potentially triggering late-stage inflammatory responses years after infection. However, international health agencies maintain that there is no evidence of human-to-human transmission, urging the public to remain calm. Officials in Canada and Russia have deployed medical teams to investigate, while the World Health Organization has called for a multinational study to determine the cause of what some are now referring to as post-COVID neurological syndrome. Scientists emphasize that while the symptoms are severe, cases remain isolated and there is no indication of a broader health threat. Still, with growing reports from rural communities and a lack of conclusive data, some experts warn that we may only be scratching the surface of an emerging medical mystery. For now, health authorities urge vigilance, but not panic.
Can you walk here down for your mom? Okay, that's good. All right. Okay, so he's tired, obviously, but, he's been good,
The World Health Organization has issued a voluntary recall for select batches of the recently released Neurovax 26 booster following the discovery of a manufacturing discrepancy. Health officials stress that the recall is precautionary and that the risk to the public remains low. Neurovax 26, an mRNA-based booster designed to address lingering neurological complications linked to long-term COVID, was introduced earlier this year and has been widely distributed across North America, Europe, and parts of Asia. Vaccine manufacturers have assured the public that all affected doses are being pulled from circulation and that new quality control measures are in place. For those who have received Neurovax 26, officials advise watching for any unusual symptoms and consulting a healthcare provider if necessary.
Released the footy, but checked immediately.
Thank you.
Oh, we have it. We understand the MCG, so everyone is being evacuated.
Wow. All players being instructed to get to the middle of the ground.
Guys, straight to the middle of the ground.
What about the players? Do they go to their rooms?
Thanks, guys. Middle of the ground. Up to the middle of the ground. In the rooms. In the rooms.
Do you want them in their rooms?
Guys.
Well, this is quite extraordinary, Jason.
Can't see any smoke.
This is an official emergency warning for residents in and around South Brisbane, including the Mater Hill and Woolloongabba areas. This message is issued by Queensland Police, Queensland Health and Emergency Management Queensland. At 6:40 p.m. EETE, authorities received reports of a public safety incident at Mater Hill Hospital, Brisbane and surrounding areas. Queensland Health has confirmed an active security lockdown at the facility due to an escalating medical situation. At this time, all individuals are advised to avoid the area and follow instructions from emergency personnel. If you are currently within the impacted region, shelter in place and refrain from unnecessary movement. Local emergency services are working to assess the situation. Do not attempt to approach Mater Hospital or its surrounding streets.
We are cutting into our broadcast with breaking developments that are deeply concerning. Just hours ago, reports began surfacing from Brisbane, Australia, where Mater Hospital, one of the country's largest medical centers, became the epicenter of a still unexplained medical emergency. What was initially dismissed as a mass hysteria event has now escalated, though authorities are providing almost no details. But what we can confirm is this. Mater Hospital was a designated site for the new Neurovax 26 booster rollout, and now, just moments ago, the Canadian government has announced a sudden and immediate restriction on all travel to and from the Northern Territories. This was not planned. There was no prior warning. The announcement came with no official reasoning. And when CBC reached out to government offices in Nunavut, Yukon, and the Northwest Territories, we were met with silence. Some of our reporters were physically removed from government buildings in Yellowknife after pressing for answers. What is happening? What aren't we being told? We've seen governments respond to health crises before, but not like this. Not with this level of secrecy.
Air Canada 217, this is JFK approach. We have you on radar at flight level 240. Cleared to descend to 10,000 feet. Expect vectors for ILS runway 22 left. Wind 19, no at 12 knots.
Roger, JFK. Descending to 10,000. Vectors for 22 left. JFK, we need to declare a medical emergency. Multiple passengers are in distress. Agitated. Flight crew is struggling to maintain order.
Copy. Maple 217. What's the nature of the medical emergency? Illness? Foodborne?
Negative. Symptoms are odd, disorientation, confusion, increasing aggression. One passenger just collapsed. Another is shaking violently. Crew is trying to restrain a few.
Understood. Declaring emergency. Diverting inbound traffic. Expedite descent to 3,000 feet. Proceed direct to final approach. EMTs and security will be standing by.
Jesus, it's spreading. More passengers are panicking. One just attacked a flight attendant. Bitter.
Say again, 217. Did you confirm an attack?
Affirmative. Passenger is unresponsive. Still breathing, but won't let go of her. What the hell is happening?
217. Do you require armed security upon landing?
Affirmative. And tell medical to be ready for something new. We don't know what this is. We're still in control. On final approach, runway 22 left. Get those teams ready. No idea what we're bringing you.
Copy. 217. You are cleared to land. Emergency teams are rolling. We'll be waiting.
And this is breaking news right now that has just hit our desk.
Updates as they were seeing it right there from the ground and up in the air.
Let's move right along with other top stories that we are covering. The tear gas definitely came down. We did get hit with it. Bringing you all raw coverage of non-stop news.
Right, there goes the roof.
We got you covered here. I'm live now from Fox. We are just getting started here for you.
We are following breaking news coming out of Queens tonight, where reports of a chaotic situation are emerging from John F. Kennedy International Airport. Details are still coming in, but sources on the ground describe what appears to be some kind of riot-like disturbance inside Terminal 4. Witnesses say crowds are running in panic, and law enforcement has been deployed to the scene. We have our field correspondent Daniel Harris live outside JFK. Daniel, what are you seeing?
Yeah, look, it's hard to describe what's going on here. We got reports of some kind of violent disturbance inside Terminal 4 about 20 minutes ago, but there's a lot of confusion. People are just running. Airport security and NYPD officers have flooded the entrance, and we've seen emergency medical teams rushing in as well.
Daniel, do we know what sparked this?
No official word yet. Some witnesses claim it started near an arriving flight gate, but we've also heard unconfirmed reports of altercations inside. One traveler told me she saw people fighting near baggage claim, but it's all speculation at this point.
Daniel, are you safe to stay there?
Yeah, we're staying back. Look, something's happening inside, but law enforcement hasn't issued a statement yet. We do know flights have been delayed and incoming passengers are being diverted. The Port Authority has not confirmed any official lockdown, but based on what we're seeing, there's clearly an active situation.
Again, if you're just joining us, something is unfolding at JFK Airport in Queens. Early reports describe riot-like activity and widespread panic inside the terminal.
This is an emergency message from the New York Emergency Management Agency. Please stand by for an important public safety announcement. At the request of state and local authorities, all residents of New York City are advised to avoid the areas surrounding John F. Kennedy International Airport and adjacent neighborhoods in Queens until further notice. Law enforcement is responding to a developing situation involving widespread disturbances and erratic behavior among individuals in the vicinity. If you are in or near this area, leave immediately. Do not engage with affected individuals. Maintain distance and seek secure shelter indoors. Reports indicate an increase in highly aggressive and unpredictable behavior among some individuals. First responders are working to assess the situation and provide aid where possible. At this time, the cause of this incident is unknown. The public is urged to remain calm and follow official instructions. Expect increased law enforcement and emergency response presence throughout the city. Further updates will be provided as more information becomes available.
Ceci est une alerte d'urgence du gouvernement français. Veuillez écouter attentivement. Une extrême urgence de sécurité publique se déroule désormais dans le centre de Paris. Les autorités réagissent aux multiples incidents violents en cours sur et autour des Champs-Élysées, de la place de la Concorde et des quartiers environnants. Des individus affichant un comportement erratique et agressif ont été signalés en train d'attaquer physiquement des piétons sans provocation. Les secouristes sur place ont perdu la communication à plusieurs endroits. Cette situation se détériore rapidement. Tous les individus présents dans le 8e arrondissement, notamment à proximité de l'avenue des Champs-Élysées et de la rue de Rivoli, doivent évacuer immédiatement ou se réfugier dans un endroit sécurisé. Les districts suivants sont désormais soumis à un confinement d'urgence. 1er arrondissement, Louvre, Palais Royal, rue de Rivoli, 8e arrondissement, Champs-Élysées, place de la Concorde, Grand Palais, 9 et même arrondissement.
Nia, we screwed up. We rushed Neurovax 26 through approval, and now it's making everything 10 times worse.
Anwar, slow down. We didn't create this. The post-COVID brain issues, whatever this is, were already happening.
Not like this. Before Neurovax, people had symptoms over months. Confusion, aggression, some weird neurological stuff, sure. But after the shot, it's happening in hours.
You're saying the vaccine sped it up?
Yes, it was designed to flush out leftover virus particles stuck in people's nervous systems. But instead, it made the immune system attack their brains. That's why they're losing control. Their bodies don't know what to fight, so their brains are overheating, shutting down, turning primal.
That would explain the cases in the north. But how is it spreading?
That's the worst part. Some of those virus fragments, they weren't dead. Neurovax forced the immune system to attack them, but instead of wiping them out, it reawakened something. The virus mutated inside people's nervous systems. Now, it's transmissible.
We fucked up.
You get it now? We didn't just worsen this. We accelerated it. The early cases took months to reach this stage. But Neurovax patients, it's taking hours.
We have to stop distribution right now.
It's too late. Neurovax is already being rolled out worldwide. In the US, they mandated it today.
지 또한 히스라이가 벤게레니 파싱식 다니 요코카라 묘루 소베키 뉴스가 제이테마스 지에 띠테이마스 마타 지에 또 가츠마스가 려리遠くのはこの金場をこれくじるリズんでいます。
横浜とその周辺地域の住民の皆様、これは命の危険にさらされた状況です。横浜港に停泊した船舶が暴力的で狂乱した人々を街路に解き放った。これらの人物は極度の攻撃性を示し見たり聞いたりできる人を攻撃します。報告によると噛みつき重傷混乱の拡大が確認されている。横浜港みなとみらい神奈川区磯子付近にいる場合は直ちに避難または避難してください。このような人には近づかないでください。関与しないでください。彼らは警告に反応しません。市民暴動が広がっています。現在川崎鶴見東京都心部で混乱が報告されています。法執行機関は状況を封じ込めることができません。家に帰れ、ドアに鍵をかけてください。必要に応じてバリケードを築く、窓を避けてください。これらの人物に遭遇したら逃げてください。今、待ってはいけません。
We are closely monitoring disturbing reports coming from hospitals across Metro Manila. While still unconfirmed, initial information suggests that certain medical facilities are reporting a rise in patients exhibiting unusual side effects following administration of the Neurovax 26 booster. These reports come amid global concerns over the vaccine, as we have already seen several countries, Australia, Japan, France, and the United States, descend into chaos following outbreaks of what officials are still calling mass hysteria. Authorities in the Philippines have yet to issue an official statement, but sources within the Department of Health confirm that emergency meetings are currently underway. We will bring you updates as they come.
Ito ay isang pambansang babala mula sa NRRMC at ng pamahalaan. Batay sa rekomendasyon ng Department of Health, isa sa ilalim sa agarang lockdown ang buong National Capital Region. Ang kautusang ito ay ipatutupad ng Sandatahang Lakas ng Pilipinas kasama ang iba pang ahensya ng seguridad. Simula ngayon, ilalagay sa aktibong pagbabantay ang lahat ng itinakdang hadlang at checkpoint. Walang sinuman ang pinapayagang lumabas o pumasok sa mga naitakdang sakop ng restriksyon. Ang lahat ng mamamayan ay inaatasang manatili sa loob ng kanilang mga pahana. Huwag lumabas. Iwasan ang mga pampublikong lugar. Sumunod sa otoridad. Ito ay para sa inyong kaligtasan.
Unrest is unfolding in Saudi Arabia as protests have erupted outside a Neurovax 26 distribution center in Riyadh. Demonstrators are demanding answers after government authorities moved to isolate all individuals who had received the controversial booster. Eyewitnesses report that security forces have cordoned off key medical facilities.
transporting vaccinated individuals to undisclosed locations. Tensions are rising across the region, with reports of similar unrest in neighboring countries considering their own responses to the escalation.
هذا تحذير طارئ للسكان من وزارة الداخلية برجاء الالتزام بالتعليمات التي سيتم تسليمها قريبا. انتباه! وهذا توجيه عاجل من وزارة الداخلية ومجلس الأمن الوطني. نعلن حالة الطوارئ في الرياض ومكة بسبب تصاعد أعمال العنف الشديد. تؤكد التقارير أن الأفراد الذين شاركوا سابقا في أعمال الشغب خارج مركز التوزيع أظهروا سلوكا عدوانيا مفاجئا، حيث هاجموا المدنيين وقوات الأمن دون استفزاز. تصف روايات شهود العيان نوبات الهلع الشديدة والحركات غير المنتظمة والعدوان غير المنضبط مع حوادث العض المتعددة. لقد تم الاستيلاء على المناطق الحيوية في الرياض، بما في ذلك المناطق الطبية والبنية التحتية الرئيسية من قبل هؤلاء الأفراد العنيفين. وتبلغ مدينة مكة المكرمة الآن عن اندلاع سلوك عدائي مماثل، وتكافح أجهزة إنفاذ القانون للحفاظ على النظام. وينصح الجمهور بالبحث عن مأوى على الفور وتجنب المناطق المزدحمة وعدم الاقتراب من هؤلاء الأفراد.
This is a national emergency message from the United States government. This is not a test. Please stand by for an official message from a representative of the President of the United States.
At 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has declared a Category 1 national biohazard emergency. This classification indicates an immediate and catastrophic biological threat to public health and national security. The pathogen, of unknown origin, is spreading at an unprecedented rate, resulting in total societal collapse in multiple urban centers. The pathogen responsible is unknown, but its effects are catastrophic. Infected individuals display extreme aggression, unnatural speed, and an alarming resistance to physical trauma. They move with impossible coordination, running, climbing, and overwhelming barriers that should be impenetrable. Infection is transmitted through both direct bites and airborne exposure to infected respiratory droplets. If you are in an affected area, evacuate immediately. Do not approach the infected. They are no longer human. The eastern seaboard is in freefall. Federal containment efforts have failed. Effective immediately, the following states are under full federal containment protocols: New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Washington, D.C. Entry and exit are strictly forbidden. If you are inside these regions, your survival is not guaranteed. If you are outside, do not attempt to enter. Attempting to leave containment zones will be met with immediate military intervention. The United States military has suffered catastrophic losses. The outbreak has overrun critical military installations, including Fort Hamilton in New York City, Joint Base McChurch in New Jersey, Naval Station Norfolk in Virginia, and Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. All station personnel in these locations are presumed lost. The last transmission from these bases reported the infected moving in overwhelming numbers, bypassing security measures and breaching high-level containment perimeters with impossible speed. Local military units are acting autonomously under emergency wartime protocols. Do not expect reinforcements. Do not expect rescue. National Guard and Marine units have suffered total casualties and were forced to abandon all strongholds, with survivors retreating westward. Communications from within Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens have ceased. If you have family in the region, you must assume the worst. To all citizens receiving this broadcast, you must understand the severity of the situation. These infected are not mindless. They chase, they hunt, they adapt. They move faster than you, they climb, they do not stop. If they hear you, they will come. If they see you, you cannot outrun them. If they break through your defenses, you will not survive. Lock your doors, secure all windows, stay out of sight. Do not make noise. If you encounter an infected, you must escape immediately. They cannot be reasoned with. They feel no pain, they will not hesitate, do not wait to find out. The CDC, in coordination with the Department of Defense, is enacting Level 5 biocontainment protocols. All non-infected citizens are advised to shelter in place until further notice. We will provide additional instructions as they become available. We do not know how far this will spread. We do not know if this can be stopped. May God help us all.
Roger. Checking. Yeah, you guys should be able to get out the glass and see a little bit better than we can from where we're sitting. Just keep your eyes on them. Copy all. Looks like I got those two individuals moving. We're trying to...
여러분은 부산에서 감염된 사람들이 군인들을 쫓는 좀비 같은 사태가 발생하는 장면을 보고 계십니다. 원인은 알려지지 않았지만 지난주 국내에 유통
모든 시민은 주요 도로, 기차역, 대중교통 중심지를 피하는 것이 좋습니다. KTX 고속철도 시스템이 손상되었습니다. 보도에 따르면 부산, 서울, 대구로 향하는 여러 열차에 감염된 사람이 타고 있는 것으로 나타났습니다. 부산역에서 서울행 KTX 406 코 탑승객들 사이에서 통신이 두절됐다. 목격자들은 열차 객실 내부에서 폭력적인 공격과 통제할 수 없는 패닉을 보고했습니다. 현재 열차를 멈추려는 모든 시도는 실패했습니다. 부산역에서 서울행 KTX 406 코 탑승객들 사이에서 통신이 두절됐다. 목격자들은 열차 객실 내부에서 폭력적인 공격과 통제할 수 없는 패닉을 보고했습니다. 현재 열차를 멈추려는 모든 시도는 실패했습니다. 열차 내부의 감염자들이 객실 문을 뚫고 생존자들을 공격하고 있다는 보고를 받고 있습니다. 감염은 빠르게 퍼집니다. 울린 후 몇 분 안에 증상이 나타납니다. 열차 직원과 보안군은 상황을 억제할 수 없었습니다. 안에 갇힌 승객들은 열차 내부의 바리케이드를 치는 데 의지했습니다. KTX 열차에 탑승하는 경우 누구에게도 문을 열어주지 마세요. 질병관리청은 이번 발병을 유로백스 무려섭 부스터의 부작용과 공식적으로 연관시켰다. 그중 하나가 보이면 실행하세요. 그들이 당신을 보면 숨어요.
Saber 3, this is NATO Command. Confirm VIP convoy status. Is the Prime Minister secure? Over.
Negative. I repeat, negative. Parliament has collapsed. We lost the defensive perimeter. We're taking heavy casualties. The capital is overrun. There is no secure route out. We need immediate evac.
Saber 3, stand by. Aerial reconnaissance shows heavy movement closing in on your sector. ETA to full breach, 3 minutes. We're rerouting exfil teams from CFB Trenton. Hold your position.
There is no holding. The streets are choked with them. They're tearing through barricades like paper. They smell us. They hear us. Jesus Christ, they're climbing the goddamn buildings. We can't even get to the evac point.
Saber 3, do not lose that package. VIP extraction is mission critical.
Mission critical. There's no government left. The Prime Minister's detail got ripped apart. He's gone. The entire command structure is down. Canada has no leadership. I repeat, we have lost Ottawa.
Copy that, Saber 3. Adjusting containment protocol. Ottawa is lost. Priority directive has changed. Abandon the city. NATO Air Command is en route with strategic strikes. Get out of there.
They're everywhere. There's nowhere to go.
This is a nationwide emergency broadcast issued under the authority of the Department of National Defense, DND, and the Canadian Armed Forces, CAF. As of this transmission, all conventional containment operations within Canada have failed. The threat continues to escalate at an uncontrollable rate. Civilian casualties are catastrophic. Military installations have been compromised. Major population centers have fallen. Under the joint command structure of the North American Aerospace Defense Command and in coordination with the United States Air Force and Canadian Armed Forces, the Government of Canada is activating CONPLAN 88811. Under this directive, targeted strategic airstrikes will commence in T-minus 24 hours. These strikes are designated as a last resort containment measure and will involve high-altitude precision firebombing and drone-assisted ordnance deployment. The following areas have been designated as containment zones and will be subjected to full-scale military strikes. Central Canada sector, covering parts of southern Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and the Greater Toronto Area. Atlantic sector, covering identified locations in Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Northern Territories sector, including high-risk zones within the Northwest Territories and Nunavut. If you are within or near these zones, you are advised to evacuate immediately if safe passage is possible. The Canadian Armed Forces will not be conducting search and rescue missions once strike operations begin. All air and ground assets will be deployed with extreme prejudice to ensure containment. Expect high-altitude bombers, precision drone strikes, and full-scale aerial suppression operations to neutralize all hostile entities. The Royal Canadian Air Force and United States Air Force will conduct these operations in coordination with ground-based military divisions. There will be no further warnings once the operation commences. This directive has been authorized under the Emergency Act and National Defense Act. Martial law remains in full effect across all Canadian provinces and territories. We repeat, if you are within the designated containment zones, evacuate immediately. There will be no further warnings.
Anyone can hear this. This is the Survivor Network. We are broadcasting across every workable live antenna, shortwave frequency, and emergency channel. If you have power, if you can still hear us, you are not alone. The infected, they've changed. They are faster, stronger, smarter. They are no longer just mindless husks. We've seen them coordinate, hunt, set traps. We don't know how, but they are learning. The cities are gone. Government's gone. The world as we knew it is over. But if you're listening, there are still places left. Places where people are still holding on. If you can move, if you can fight, you need to head for these zones. In Greenland, there's a remote bunker facility. Coordinates are 71.7069 degrees north, 42.6043 degrees west. In the Himalayas, there's the Tibetan Plateau Refuge. Coordinates are 30.3350 degrees north, 88.8660 degrees east. Last one is in South Georgia Island, which is the Atlantic Refuge. Coordinates are 54.2833 degrees south and 36.5000 west. Iceland is the last international headquarters, the network's heart, a fortified underground facility beneath Reykjavik. If you can reach it, you might still have a chance. It won't be easy, most routes are gone. If you're traveling by foot, it'll take weeks, maybe months. We have confirmed reports that the Russian Federation has used its nuclear arsenal to eradicate the infected. Multiple warheads were detonated across major cities: Moscow, St. Petersburg, Vladivostok. All are gone. But it wasn't just the infected. The fallout is spreading. A nuclear winter is taking hold over Eurasia, contaminating everything in its path. Neighboring regions are already seeing deadly radiation storms. If you're near the Russian border, get out now. Do not seek shelter there. Do not think about going east. The land is poisoned. There is nothing left. You'll have to fight, hide, survive. But it's your only chance. If you stay where you are, you won't make it. If you hear this, run. Don't wait. Don't look back. Get out while you can. There's nothing left out there.
Transmission of the Global Emergency Alert System. If you are hearing this, you are among the last. It has been 1 year since the world ended. We believed it began in one place, a single city, a single airport, a single moment. We were wrong. The outbreak was never contained. It never could be. What was once a virus became something else. It learned, it spread, it adapted. The infected moved with purpose, with intelligence. They built no cities, but they conquered ours. They wrote no history, but they erased ours. And now they have inherited the Earth. The final strongholds have fallen. In London, the International Survivor Network ceased transmissions 2 months ago. No response. No signs of life. Greenland was overrun in a single night. The cold did not stop them. Nothing did. The Himalayan refuge vanished. No distress calls. No wreckage, only silence. While in remote Pacific islands, there is no confirmed survivors. Some still send automated signals, but no human voices reply. Russia is uninhabitable. The nuclear solution failed. Radiation clouds drifted across Asia and Europe. The fallout is spreading. Africa fell to chaos. The infection was only the first catastrophe. Wars ignited over safe zones. The infected did not kill everyone. Hunger, violence, and desperation did the rest. South America reported colossal hordes, millions moving as one, stretching across entire regions. The Amazon burned for weeks. No human settlements remain. Earth is lost. The last of us are gone. But one hope remains. For decades, NASA and international agencies planned for an impossible scenario, one where Earth could no longer sustain human life. It was never meant to be used. It was never meant to be real. And yet, here we are. Exodus 1, humanity's last ark, carries the final uninfected beyond the stars. Scientists, engineers, survivors. Not enough to call it a civilization. Just enough to call it hope. The destination is unknown. The odds of success are unknown, but to remain on Earth was certain death. This is not an evacuation. This is an exodus. It has been 4,000 years since the Great Pyramids rose from the sands of Giza. 2,000 years since Rome ruled the known world.
1,000 years since steel and fire shaped the modern age, and barely a century since humankind reached beyond the sky, setting foot on the moon. For millennia, we built monuments to defy time. We conquered disease, split the atom, connected continents, and mapped the stars. We created machines to outthink us, weapons to outmatch us, and ideas that would outlive us. The last great nation of Earth, the United States of America, stood as the final superpower, an empire not of land, but of influence, innovation, and war. It reached across oceans, shaped the modern world, and carried humanity to the heavens. It endured wars, crises, and time itself. But time was never our enemy. We were. And now, after 300,000 years of dominion over the Earth, we are no longer its rulers. The cities we built are ruins. The knowledge we gathered is dust. The fire we stole from the gods is burned out. We were the first species to leave our world, and now we are the first to abandon it.
That's affirmative. And at 7120,